Time for the market report. Looks like the market closed pretty even last week.
Indeed they did, at least in the commodities we follow. We'll get into it. But first, the numbers. Some commodities rebounding, others falling. We'll take a look at the bulls and bears. And then our road report. What are the major factors driving market forces right now? We'll talk about it. Markets evenly split last week at the end. Some commodities hit a big drop at the end. Let's take a look. Last week's biggest loss, soybeans down 60 cents. The reason appears to be higher year-end stocks than anticipated, which means more beans than we initially thought. Last week's biggest gain, wheat again up nearly 47 cents. We'll get into why right now. The war in Ukraine, of course, with tensions continuing to rise, world wheat supply now a concern. Market analyst Angie Setzer says wheat prices influenced by the war and also tells us what's been moving the soybean markets.
Russia's crop size continues to increase just about every day. I think they're up to 101 million metric ton. And of course, folks are arguing about whether or not that includes a third of Ukraine's wheat or not, and this, that, and the other thing. But the reality is the market kind of removed all of the war premium. You know, when we had the grain corridor announcement and things of that nature, like we basically reverted back to the prices that we had seen prior to the invasion on the idea that we're going to see, you know, I think we maybe thought that, oh, okay, well, you know, this will kind of simmer as a conflict for a while in eastern Ukraine, and it won't impact the movement of grains and things of that nature. And so you saw the markets really back off. And suddenly, you know, when Ukraine kind of did the counteroffensive, you saw things change greatly. And so now here we sit. We wait to see what Russia's going to do this weekend, how far they're going to move to enforce their, quote, annexation of those territories. I mean, 18% of Ukraine's territory falls under, you know, what Russia says is theirs now. The USDA came out and increased ending stocks for the crop year by 32 million bushels above what traders were expecting. And so, you know, when we're talking about corn and everyone's like, well, what? We saw 135 million bushel reduction and you're talking 30 million and we were only up 8. And you're going to tell me a 30 million bushel increase in ending stocks means that we go down 45 in beans. And I will say yes, because our ending stocks were supposed to be 240 million bushel and they were 10% larger than anticipated. You know, and so I think, you know, when it comes down to it, we ended up understating the bean crop last year. We had a lot of folks that kind of argued that that might be the case. Does that mean that we're understating the bean crop currently this year? Because many would argue that in a lot of places, August weather was better than August weather last year. And then we have the Brazilian crop. I mean, we're looking at the potential down there. Now, granted, I'm going to preface everything I say right now with we're a third year of La Nina in the fall. So we have no idea what's going to happen weather-wise. But the start to the Brazilian crop in most areas has been good to the Brazilian soybean planting. I mean, they're 2% planted. So, it's not like we're a third in or a half in or something of that nature. It's very early, but the rainfall is expected to continue to come. The drier conditions could happen in the south, but so far so good.
And that's it for a deeper look into the markets. The bad news, with ongoing global conflict, things are getting tight. The good news, we appear to have more in stock than we expected. Winter is on the way, and we'll see how supplies hold up.